introduction, Dr. Oluwasegun is a scientist and mathematician, passionate and impactful, an exceptional academic researcher. He's a tutor and a mentor. He holds multiple degrees, a PhD in applied mathematics, MSc in mathematical science, MSc in industrial mathematics, BSc in industrial mathematics. He is the founder of STEAM City Initiative, where he empowers and mentors young Africans to excel academically. He also serves as a mentor at the U.S. National Math Alliance, where he supports aspiring individuals in the mathematical science field. His work has won him multiple awards. So a round of applause for Dr. Oluwasegun as we welcome him to take the stage. Welcome, sir. We're super, super excited to have you here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the powerful introduction. I'm also excited to be here. Yeah, sorry, I took over the screen. I was trying to set up and I was actually having issues trying to let my browser to access the content of my system. So I had to do some admin permission, and I'm like, that permission is like 10 minutes. Then I quickly want to do it before, yeah, it will log me out again. And that's like a whole process again. So sorry that I had to stay the screen for a while. So yeah, great introduction, fantastic. Yes, I'm here. I'm passionate a lot about, human development, particularly young people, because I know that there's so much that young people tends to offer, and with the right mentoring, they can achieve a lot in life. So yeah, today we'll be talking about assessing global digital careers in science and technology. So yeah, again, thanks to your organization for the invitation, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. Okay, so just a little bit about myself. I know there were introductions, but okay, let's see like a little bit of the things about me, and hopefully that could make you have some sense of where I'm coming from, and yeah, maybe my words will be believable or not, or yeah, and yeah, what you can think about. Another thing I like to say is that I'm sure this is not the first time of you attending a webinar or a talk. So many a times you must have attended something like this, and you'll be like, oh, I've learned a lot. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. If you don't have a jotter to jot things down, to take note of things, it might just be like any other talk that you've experienced in the past. So I would strongly encourage you to find your notepad, your jotter, your pen, and start taking note of things. And even apart from that, we hope that you're able to ask questions at the end of the talk today. So a little bit about myself, my life as a person, and as an educator. I am from Ekiti State, Nigeria. That's why I have my Ekiti State logo here, and the background of Nigeria, having a background of Nigeria. So I'm from Ekiti State, Nigeria. I had my BSc from Adekunle Ajasin University, my first master's, University of Benin. So that's why I have the logo in this order. My second master's was at African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, Rwanda. Then my PhD was in University of Benin before I joined the University of Texas at Austin here in the US. What I do a lot of research, and the research I don't have to do research for research's sake. I try to do research to address real life problems and to help policymaker identify how they could better manage the society. So this is just me and some of my collaborators in Austin, getting to meet with the mayor of Austin based on some things we've done for them. This happens to be the former mayor of Austin. So here as well, yeah, I teach in the classroom. Maybe not as much as doing research. This is yeah, one of those days that I was teaching in the classroom. I also get involved in public engagement locally here in Austin and at other places in United States. And I also spend time volunteering for my church in helping younger ones, mentoring them career-wise here at Austin. So this is one of the gatherings we had in December. Yeah, like I said, do a lot of research. The one here was published in the National Proceedings for United States. It talks about disease modeling, flu and COVID-19. I also have research experience using maths to understand crime dynamics. I also use maths to understand how sleeping sickness affects human. It's called bisexual. Like I was introduced before, yes, I'm a founder of the STEM City Initiative, powering education for a sustainable future and, mentoring younger folks as well and connecting them to the best opportunity. So that's a little bit about myself, and hope that all your questions will come at the end of the talk so that we can get this thing together. Great. So when I received the topic, I was like, okay, so every topic out there is a statement of problem. Like there is a reason why the topic is meant to be discussed. So in my search, I found this Conferry study, which worked, and a lot of extensive work was done into trying to understand what the future looks like when it comes to potential global talent. And the study, found out that there is a possibility of deficit in that of more than 5.2 million workers by 2030. And that if care is not taking, nearly $8.5 trillion revenue potentially will be lost based on, talent shortage. So it is just important for you to know that the world needs you, regardless of where you are, regardless of your background, your space, the country where you're from, the home and the background you're from. The world needs you. And that is also evident in this study. So just for you to know that the topic that was chosen today, it's not just, for for the sake of, we talking. It is very consistent with what literature is saying, research studies that have been put out there in terms of how deficits could impact, global economy. And we as younger folks, we are expected to fill up that space. We are expected to get ourselves ready. And this webinar is to make you understand how to position yourself strategically. There are some things you'll be hearing for the first time in your life. There will be some things that you must have heard before. So there are some there are some you can work with, there are some you might need to follow up with, maybe Cactus Tech or someone else to help you actualize those things. So you are in the right place, hearing something like this from through this platform. So, like I said, in terms of the global shift, connecting this with the previous slide, I'm saying there is not just in Africa, not just in other continents, we're talking about the entire continent. There's a global talent shortage in STEM. I can tell you here in United States, there are a whole lot of programs that support STEM. A simple example is when people come to United States to study, if you study a STEM course, United States will give you the opportunity of staying back for the next 3 years to be able to work. If you study a course that is non-STEM, they will only give you 1 year to stay back, as at now. So um, it is no longer a news again that STEM is the way to go. A very simple example that I think we can all resonate with is, if you look at the case of the COVID-19 in 2020, ever since that time, there has been an increasing number of remote jobs. I know there are situations where there are some jobs that, they are really, really essential, so they don't have to be remote. But I can say that there are so many jobs that popped up during the COVID-19, and some of the jobs, they remain in the system, where there are some of the jobs too that has been maybe turned into hybrid. So it's important to know that, there are jobs that came out during 2020 and they are still there. They still need more remote jobs. Maybe I'll be using this intertwined, like I can mention Nigerian talent, and I can also say like African talent. Basically, based on my experience and based on my years of meeting people, I realized that, African talents, particularly, Nigerian talent, are highly sought after. To be precise, when we find ourselves in the Western world, I realized that, we do not struggle too much when it comes to language. You get to meet a lot of people that you think they even know more than you, but they probably may not be able to express themselves in English language just the way you do it. So I want to tell you, knowing how to speak and, speak English and write English is a very good skill. Like, it's a very good thing to have, right? So there are a lot of people that I know here in the United States who are trying to learn English, who are trying to know how to speak English language. I've also seen that our people are very resilient, and also given the fast growing tech space in Africa. So there's just a lot of things around how talent from this area can contribute to the global economy. Now let's talk about high demand digital careers, because it's important to know this. And knowing this will help you kind of like figure out things to spend your time doing. I'm not saying that it is not possible for you to do, what do I call it, remote work, or, opportunities in other fields. But I'm trying to talk about, high demand digital careers, given, our topic for today. Oh, the top on my list is software and web development. Just think about anything. Like, think about the software we're using now. I am, using the Google Meet for this webinar. Someone created it. There were a lot of software development. I'm using it via my web app. The front end, back end, and so on and so forth. I think there's a place of getting the skills. Like, if you have the opportunity of doing a training or a workshop, that's fine. In this age, I would strongly encourage you all to take, if you have to choose a course, you should choose a course in the areas of the things I'm going to discuss that I've listed on the screen. Another thing is data and artificial intelligence, AI. Artificial intelligence, it has come to stay, like whether we like it or not, it's not going to go. And if there is any skill that you need to have to get yourself prepared, is to be an AI prompt engineer. I taught a course sometime last year for people in my church, and we were talking about how to leverage artificial intelligence in this age. and I taught them how to be an AI engineer. Older folks, I'm talking about people who are 60, 70, they were part of this event. And I can tell you for a fact, it was an eye opener for them because a woman walked up to me and be like, my friend who happens to be a medical doctor, told me something about my health. And I'm like, okay, let me try to search it. Let me try to use the right prompt to get, the history of this disease, how to, just to have some sort of understanding. By the way, I'm not saying you should rely on AI for medical diagnosis, but I'm just talking about, trying to use it to just have a basic educational knowledge of something. Cloud and cybersecurity is also a very, 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 very good career that is high demand. There are other careers, right? But we're talking about careers that are high demand. There's always someone somewhere trying to penetrate a system, a server, and the world needs information security experts, experts that are able to secure those spaces. Digital science and bioinformatics. Maybe I would say this is a little bit close to what I do, but maybe not exactly, because if it's exactly, then maybe there will not be any need for me to be at my university, because there are still some things I need to do in person. But I can tell you for a fact there are a lot of public health agencies that are looking for someone to manage their data, to do some data mining, data extraction, um, and just do some sort of data representation out there. So I can tell you they're good fits. And there are also fields that are maybe less technical compared to the ones I've mentioned, which is, product management, technical writing, Scrum Masters, UI, UX design, and all that. So I talk to a lot of young people, and, young people, when you ask them what do they want to do, they base their career based off the movie they watch, what they see in the movie, or what their friends are saying. They're not basing their, what they want to do based on, like, what is in demand, what do I like, what kind of life do I want to live in future. If I'm to make impact, do I need finance? Do I need more money to be able to make this impact? What kind of job do I get? To get this job, what can qualify me to get the job? Is it that I need to take a degree in this course, or I need to take a certification in this course? So I don't want to mention any course, but you see people they study some courses, and it's hard to find job. It's hard to be able to employ them to be able to, do things, because the job the skill they have, or the education that they have, do not give them the skills that could make them globally, relevant, or even when they are back home in Africa, to be able to work remotely. So I'm not going to mention a major specifically, but think about it. Courses that, are not related, or they are not on the things that you have on screen. I think you should shine your eyes very well before you fill those forms during UTME, or people who want to do masters, or people who want to do a BSc. So, assessing those opportunities now, let's talk about, where to find remote global roles. As much as, we may want to mention specifically those places where we can find these roles, I can tell you something. Something works. It's been working. It will still work, which is networking. Regardless of the things you're seeing on the screen, I can tell you for a fact, when you do your networking right, someone somewhere is able to call you for a particular opportunity. I've had a lot of opportunities in life based off the fact that I had people who mentor me, people who I have decided not to be a problem in their life. What do I mean by that? Many a times, some of us, we don't know when to seek for some certain help and when not to seek for some certain help. Delay gratification. You may have certain people in your life, and that the only thing they're going to do for you is to keep exposing you to information, is to keep exposing you to opportunity in life. As soon as you start asking them for money, it might just stop them from responding to you again. If they want to give you money, they can give you, like, right? If they choose to, that's fine. But there are individuals who probably God have deposited them in your life, or let me just say, they're around you, they know you, just to give you information that will take you to the next stage of your life. One of the people who have ever, linked me up with a very fantastic opportunity in life, I can never remember them giving me 1 naira. And I'm very sure, even if I walk up to them and I say I need something, they probably are not going to give me, but they're giving me fantastic opportunity in life. So networking works. Okay, meet people, say hello, be very polite. That will really be helpful. So in finding global remote, the remote global roles, there are different platforms where you can do that. I would say the first year is, looking at vetted talent networks, like Touring, TopTal, and the rest. But these ones require, passing the technical test. But let's talk about remote specific jobs. There are different platforms where you could do that. I have listed them here. Well found, remote.co, flex jobs, and Otter. And in terms of freelance, to full time, I've used Upwork before. I've used Fiverr before. They're really, really great, for securing international client base. And sometimes people get to beat their prices down so that they can just get an international client and have someone they're working with. So it doesn't mean that you have to be an expert before you start there, right? It can just be something simple that maybe you know how to do graphic design, and maybe you just want to do something like that. LinkedIn is another great place, to find a remote job. LinkedIn has a lot of tools. I mean, I can say it is worth it to even find someone somewhere, to be able to play around how to use LinkedIn effectively in job session. You can use it to kind of filter jobs the jobs that were posted in the last 24 hours. You can use it to filter things like, I want a job that only 5 people has applied to, only 10 people has applied to. You can use it to filter it. So these are the platforms that I think you can find. Maybe there might be other platforms, but these are like the major ones I think I have ever come in contact with. Building a borderless portfolio is very, very important. And what do I mean by that? I don't know the level or the stage where you are in your interest in tech, but regardless of that phase, I think so many things are very important. If you have a code, or if you're developing a code, or there is a script somewhere, or there is a project somewhere that you've done, it is important that you create a GitHub account. Creating the GitHub account helps you to be able to, create a project, put README in the project section, and upload your code. If you need to also do more examples, maybe you're just learning data analytics and you can't find data, you can use Kaggle. So where you find data to be able to play around with. In trying to look for global opportunity, people want to recruit you, might want to request for your GitHub page. They want to see it. They want to be able to see that you contribute on, open source projects, and it shows that you are highly collaborative. That skill is, very, very important. Personal branding is also something I think is important. I know we all have maybe Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, that might likely not be where people will come give you tech jobs. I'm not talking about social media jobs, but when it comes to tech jobs, I think LinkedIn is a good place. And please, if you're setting up your LinkedIn, make sure the LinkedIn is a professional one. Don't go and copy what is on your Instagram, like the normal post. I don't know, like happy Sunday post that you're going to post on your Instagram. Don't bring it to your LinkedIn. Like everyone you see on LinkedIn, they also have their social life. But when people are posting certain things, it just makes them feel like this person is not serious. So you should know where a post should be and what you should post on a platform or what you should not post on a platform, because people wants to engage you, people wants to give you opportunity, people who wants to come to your page, and maybe the LinkedIn algorithm have directed the recruiter to your page. You, in that case, now you can, like, okay, let's look at this person's profile. What is this person doing? What is this person passionate about? How can we should we send them a mail and all that? So try to add people on LinkedIn. I encourage people to have about 500 plus connection, because that is, once you hit the 500, then I think the algorithm is able to show whoever is trying to add you that, oh, this person has 500 plus connection. But when you have below 500 plus connection, it's almost like this person is a novice. This person is just using LinkedIn for the first time. So I probably need not to take them seriously. There's something we do here in the US. I don't know how possible that is in Nigeria, which is there's a way we verify our LinkedIn. There are some people who don't respond to LinkedIn requests except if you are verified, because they want to be sure that, okay, this person is someone associated with a reputable organization. So people get to verify their LinkedIn using their work profile or their government ID. So cracking the Western interview process, again, the whole idea is like to be able to tap into those global opportunities and be able to, work remotely where you are, or ultimately with time, those opportunities will attract you to the Western world. Number one thing I would probably want you to think about is, I think you should consider the country of interest and the economy of the country. It's hard for me to recommend countries now because there is a lot of instability in government policies in different parts of the world. I encourage you to often listen to news. Do you know why? Because you want to be sure that you've not spent months and years trying to prepare to learn the language of a country or to understand the culture of a country before you realize that maybe that country is fighting a war, maybe that country is unsettled, maybe that country has a policy that will not even bring people into the country. You want to research, a lot of countries and different opportunities, because something works very well in this world. No matter how brilliant, how fantastic you are in whatever you're doing, if you apply to where there are a lot of people applying to, your chance of getting it is slim. But if you apply to a place where there are less people applying, your probability is high. That is why you could see that someone is brilliant, fantastic, they know what they're doing, they are not getting opportunity. And you see someone who is just a little bit above level average, they're getting global opportunity. Why? They have positioned themselves strategically in places where they will be known, they will be seen, and they will be offered opportunity. You know, maybe another example, let me use Nigeria as an instance, right? I don't know if you've all ever seen this or experienced this before. Two great students from high school doing fantastically well, had all A's in their courses, and one applied to maybe University of Lagos and wants to do medicine. And the person ended up doing a course that is not even medicine because there's a lot of competition. Almost everybody in Nigeria wants to go to University of Lagos. The second student had a good mentor, and the mentor said, if medicine is truly what you want to do, why not look into, I don't know, maybe Ekiti State University? So I believe, you know, based on the name of those universities and the popularity of, you know, the location where they are, it might reduce competition. I'm not saying that is the way it is in reality, but I've just cited those two examples whereby two brilliant students, one will end up studying a course that is not medicine what they want, but they will still go to the so-called good school, or they may even get rejected at the end of the day. While the other one may not go to the so-called best school, but they will get their desired degree. And that is the whole idea and the concept of looking for jobs. If you're looking at United States, maybe you've heard a lot about Texas, you've heard a lot about New York, you've heard a lot about California. Who says that those places will be able to offer you the opportunity you're looking for? A good search might be for you to just look at, okay, how many states makes United States? Maybe 50. Now, can I look for those states that are not that popular? Can I look into them and see if I'm able to find remote jobs from those states? Resume. So as for resume, there's a way we write it in Nigeria. You put, okay, Europe, they put photos. We Nigeria put marital status, age. You have to remove those things. There should be a CV overhauling. You know, that might also, that might be a webinar on its own. See, resume and CVs are set up for in such a way that the ATS is able to capture those keywords. So ATS is like that tracking system they use in the Western world to be able to zoom into your CV, zoom into the job description, and see whether there is a correlation between the two. If there's correlation, then you get picked before hiring manager, before the recruiter goes through the CV. You need to have a good soft skills, communication. In fact, if you're working remotely, you have to over communicate. Over communicating might mean to double check on someone on the things they want to do. You know, in Nigeria, like, you know, we encourage people like, okay, when you say it, oh, I'm going to do this, then that is it. Over communicating will be like, you need to check with that person again. How is it going? Are you looking forward to the meeting we're going to have? If you have any challenge, just let me know. Just communicating effectively. There are some other interview process that require, you know, technical stuff where they will ask you to do a take-home assignment, or you should even do a live coding. One thing that you might want to start thinking about to put into your CV is how to analyze your what's it called? Your experience in the STAR method. You describe the situation, you describe the task, you describe the action, you describe the result. I'm trying to rack my brain to look at a simple example to use, though, yeah, we might be running out of time. So, situation can just be like, okay, maybe I should use the organization that invited me. So there is a situation that, oh, we have these young talents that we want to expose them for them to learn more about, you know, how to tap into global opportunities in terms of science and technology. Um, we are looking for someone to be able to help us do this. That is a situation. Then the task would be that, okay, um, Dr. Shegun, we want you to help us with the webinar. You create a slide, you talk to people, then we get feedback, they ask questions, and yeah, pick a date. So after that, action will be that, okay, I am here, like I am right here. I am presenting to you all. I am talking to you. I'm sharing my slide. I am impacting, the participants and all. Results will be that um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people would say, at the end of this webinar, I was able to maybe change my career path to some of the things that were mentioned today, or I was able to use some of the idea and the knowledge here to gain admission to a school, or to write a certification, or to have a new mentor, or to get a new job, or to do something. That's the result. So when you have a CV, we are in the age of AI now, you can even take some of your job responsibilities in your CV and say, please help me analyze this job responsibility in STAR method. So because in that result section, you need to write something that is quantifiable, in terms of maybe 20% increase in the revenue of the company where you worked, or it might just be like, okay, you were able to upskill so software, as the case may be. I would not shy away from the fact that um, there are certain things that are associated with being in Nigeria, or being in Africa, or being in a resource limited setting. And it is important to know that, as much as you may think that the Western world has unlimited resources, I can also tell you that there are things that they do not have. So they are also looking for people to fit into that space. So now let's talk about the reality in Nigeria. We understand the issue of power and internet. Like, if you are able to invest in inverter or solar, please go ahead. If not possible, if you are able to encourage your parents to get, maybe instead of connecting directly to power supply, to get prepaid meter, fantastic. If you're able to invest in, Starlink, I don't know, like that might probably be expensive in Nigeria, or fiber as well. But maybe getting a mobile phone that is 5G enabled might make sense, so that you can do hotspots. I know there are 5G M5s. Those are kind of like ways of helping with um helping with um stable power supply and all that. The picture you have on the screen, I think when I was preparing this slide, and I'm like, okay, I think I have some pictures that I can actually really relate to this thing. I had basically all my degrees from BSc up to PhD level in Africa. I had my PhD from University of Benin City in Nigeria, before getting opportunity here in the US. So, well, maybe I left Nigeria, some years back. Maybe a lot of might have changed right now, but I can tell you for a fact, I have experienced all in terms of what average Nigerian student will experience in school. In fact, during my time, AI was not popular. So maybe life is even better for you guys, being in school in Nigeria. There were strategic ways that I lived my life that I think really helped me. The first picture you have here, let me see if you can see it. Yeah. The first picture um, is the picture I took when I was in University of Benin. We used to have constant power supply. We're linked to the national grid, but I think something happened. The power was no longer as frequent as it used to before. I didn't have money to buy solar. I didn't have money to buy generator. It is hard for me to go and be charging because, I mean, I'm also new to Benin. I don't have Wi-Fi. I can't even afford Wi-Fi. No, no internet. But what did I do? I took it upon myself. I walked around University of Benin campus. Yeah, I mean, maybe the campus is not as big as University of Ibadan. Maybe it's something like University of Lagos campus, or maybe something more than that. I walked across the campus. I took notes of buildings where they used to have constant power supply. Maybe that may not be the reality in Nigeria again, but this was what I did. I know that our VC building used to have constant power supply, the vice chancellor. I found a building sponsored by World Bank. And I realized they do have power supply. If there is no light, they're going to on their gen. I was not in the department. I think what they're doing was related to public health. Although what I'm doing now is also related to public health. I went into the building, I made friends with them. That was where I was reporting every blessed day. And that was where I prepared my PhD thesis. All my PhD presentation, all the things I needed, power supply, all my simulations, my computation, a lot of things career-wise. That was it. So this green thing you're seeing, this cubicle here, that's the library of the World Bank Center in my school. You see that I'm the only one here. This is how some resources are there in Nigeria, in African countries, and people just believe since there is no power supply, there is no place to do this thing, then it's a guarantee for me to relax. But you could see that I'm the only one in this place now. And I'm seated there, I'm doing my PhD. When I bring my result and take my result to the department, they are usually wow that, how did you find time to do this? So the complaint around my parents don't have money, I don't have money, this is that. I think there's a way to consolidate on that. I don't know how true this is, but I think I'm even aware that they even give loans to some of the students. During my time, I had scholarships for my degrees in Nigeria. The scholarships were not still enough. I could not afford to buy a generator, even though I got scholarship. So I put this picture there just for you to be able to know that your situation is not the worst. I navigated this, and I believe you can navigate it better. The second picture here, it's a picture of myself and my younger brother. I took permission from him before, sharing it. This is the front of Ekiti State Library. And that was shortly after my PhD, right? When I was trying to, assess global opportunity. I came back to Ado Ekiti. Yes, I could not afford a generator. There was no place, in fact, power supply was not as maybe good as the way it used to. What did I do? When I talk to people about the state library, then they're like, oh, it's not as standard as you would think. Okay. But the state library has constant power supply. So that was, as I then, like the state library had a constant power supply because it was close to the governor's office. Yeah, the structure may not be the best in the world. I don't know if they've renovated it now. It's possible. I was always going there, doing things, and doing my research, applying for opportunities. I did not allow it to let me down. And from there, I got different opportunities, from which I chose one that brought me to United States. One thing you also need to know about Nigerian reality is that the time zone is different. In the US, sometimes we are 6, maybe the time now here is around 1 p.m. The time now is around 1 p.m. and over there maybe it's around 6, 7 p.m. So you should, you know, be expecting something like that and know how to navigate it. And in terms of payment platform, if they give you the opportunity, then you can mention specific payment platforms where they can pay you through. I'm not sure. It looks like they said PayPal is coming back to Nigeria. I don't know, but Lemfi and there are some other means that people get paid when they do things online. Leveraging community and mentorship. There are a lot of things that I might have said today, but for you to consolidate on that, you may want to be involved in communities such as, Cactus Tech, to be able to have people you talk to, you follow up with. Twitter, which is the X space, I think it's also a good place to be able to have a community whereby even the future where you have not gotten to, you're already seeing people in the future. You're already seeing someone tweeting about tech, how cybersecurity experts are making it, how software development individuals are making a lot of money, they're going for workshops, they are solving this problem. It's already giving you the opportunity to see what your future might look like if you take a position in that area. Like I did mention before, you cannot underestimate networking. You cannot underestimate networking. Networking is something very, very, very important. Even here in the United States, and I'm sure in other Western world, people rely a lot on referrals. Those things are very, very important. As I round up my talk this day, I just want us to have this some sort of challenge, which is look into your life and try to examine yourself. Like, okay, what is my current state? What have I learned today? What do I think I can put into practice? And have a kind of clear roadmap for yourself. Like within the next 6 months, this is what I want to do. First would be like, okay, within the first 1 to 2 months, I want to pick a niche. Among those things that was listed earlier on, do you have anyone that interests you? Pick a niche in that area and look for a way to upskill yourself. Udemy probably has more kind of resources, but it looks like it's a paid version, like people had to pay. Sometimes some persons are lucky, they have a family member who has paid for Udemy and they just give them the login credentials. Coursera requires you to pay, but I think if you look at Coursera platform very well, there is usually a place under each course where they can say apply for scholarship or something. I do use it those days. You can click on that and they will ask you, maybe what is your total income? Why do you think you need this scholarship? Just write something. You can chat GPT it or AI it to help you expand a little bit and put the reason why you cannot afford to pay for the course. And they're going to waive the course fee and you're going to get the certificate. YouTube is another great resource, a great place to get fantastic information. Number two, within 3 to 4 months, you want to be able to build about 3 solid portfolio projects. Project that will be on your GitHub page. Projects that you can easily show it when you are, presenting during your interview. Excuse me. Fifth month might be to optimize your LinkedIn and your CV. Make sure you optimize your CV, your LinkedIn. Make sure you can even copy your CV into an AI and copy a job description and say, is this CV consistent with what an entry level cybersecurity applicant looks like? So 6 months could be to apply to remote roles, maybe 10 per week, and prepare for job interview. Personally, as an academician, as someone who has been in the academic space for a while, I think that if you're still in high school, or if you're in high school you're thinking about picking a course, I would strongly advise you that you pick those courses that are in high demand. I'm not saying people should not go and study medicine or study whatever they want to study, but if you're thinking about tech, if you're thinking about how to get a remote job, if you're thinking about high paying job, if you're thinking about opportunities that can expose you to degree or job that can expose you to global opportunity, then I think you should consider those degrees. Don't just go and study a degree just because you feel like that is what you want to study. Don't study a degree because you feel like that is what your friends are studying. Study a degree based on the fact that you know there is a career ahead of you, there is something you're pursuing, and you know that it will be easier for you to access global opportunity. Thank you so much for listening. I welcome your questions, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn.
Wow, what a wonderful one. Thank you so much, sir. That was so insightful. Before I begin to share my own takeaway, because there was so much to glean from your knowledge and experience, I would like to open the floor of questions. There was a time someone's hand was up. I don't remember the person's name, but we can begin to, if you want to speak, you can actually unmute your mic. You're welcome to speak, or you can drop the questions in the chat box. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Don't miss this opportunity.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Could you please, first of all, thank you so much, Dr. Shegun, for this session, assessing global digital career, and how you've shed the light on how to be job market ready. Could you please share any specific tips on tools that you can use to further streamline resume? Because I find that not even just resume, but like interview ready tips as well. Because I find that sometimes some people can have high qualifications in resume and they get to the interview and they see that it doesn't match. So how can you make sure that you're interview ready when your resume is top notch?
Okay. So I think there are different ways to this. There's this thing called is it informational interview, which is there's a company you apply to, they've invited you for interview. People quickly go on LinkedIn, you quickly go on LinkedIn, you go and search people that has connections, like they're your friends, but they work in that company. You can, or they have been in such a position before. You can like send them a message, DM, and be like, okay, please, I'm wondering if you can have a few minutes, blah, 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 to talk. Those ones might be able to tell you specifics about what they are likely going to say during the interview. But if that is not working, another thing to do is to just, so copy the job description. So you can do it this way. If you want to do it in an abstract way, copy the job description, go to your favorite artificial intelligence platform. I mean, I don't want to mention anyone so that it doesn't look like I'm marketing one. Go to your favorite artificial intelligence platform, that's AI platform. Paste the job description there and say, I am preparing for first round of interview, blah, blah, blah. What are the things I need to prepare for? Or that so it depends. If it's the recruiter's interview you're doing, you have to mention it. I'm preparing for the recruiter interview. The questions that the recruiter will ask you is not going to be as technical as what the hiring manager is going to ask you. So you put that there. If he's returning a lot of things, just say, what you are returning for me is too much. I want you to put it in a bullet form. I want you to reduce it to 10 or 20 bullets. That is that. Another one is, like, to be really, really ready will be to copy the job description, paste it, tell the AI to study it, copy the CV you've used to apply for that job that you got interview and paste it as well and say, comparing these two, what are the likely questions that may come up during the interview? Third one might be that, yeah, some persons try to use some sort of AI to help them gain a real-time understanding of the questions that recruiters are asking. I think that might also be a way out for some persons.
Thank you very much. That answers my question.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's a brilliant question. Thank you for asking. That's actually something that even on my end, I've seen so many people show up and on paper they look good, but they're not ready for the interview. They're not prepared at all. So I hope we're taking notes. All right, we have a question here that says, please, can you recommend any site or website to learn AI prompt engineering?
So, you know, those days when AI was not that popular, right? So I think what we do is we use Google. We just, anything we're looking for, we'll go on Google to search. Apart from Google, we used to rely on, information from people. Like there's one bros, there's one sister somewhere that said, oh, have you tried this app? Have you tried that app? You know? But now I think life is easier. I'm not saying you should rely too much on artificial intelligence because we've seen artificial intelligence make mistakes over the few months that we've had new other versions. But I think a way to go about it will be like, if you don't want to get lost when using artificial intelligence, you have to be the one to tell the artificial intelligence what you want. What do I mean? If you just go now and say, so if you pick your favorite artificial intelligence, let's say ChatGPT or something, and you say, teach me how to be an AI prompt engineer, it's just going to give you something general, right? Instead, maybe you can say, so let's say you have a degree in, I don't know, let's say computer science, right? Or you're interested in programming. You can say, hi, AI, my background is in so. I am looking forward to this kind of work, this kind of work, this kind of work. I want to know some hints on how to be okay, I think the word AI engineer is like prompt engineer is trying to knowing how to give a prompt to AI that gives you what you want, if that makes sense. So what I'm just trying to say is that you want to be able to tell the AI to guide you on how to give prompts in your field. The prompt that is going to tell me as an applied mathematician now on how to prompt my CV, how to answer the recruiter's questions is going to be different from the prompt that is going to give to someone that is doing like a lab experiment, doing culture, carrying rats, rabbits, and injecting them with different things. So the best way to take advantage of AI is to go there and say that into the AI, but remind AI of your field, so that it can give you field-specific response. So go to your favorite AI, tell it the question that, okay, I need some hint on how to be a good prompt engineer in my field. I think that will be helpful.
All right, it's brilliant. So in essence, leverage AI to learn AI prompt engineering, but make sure you are tailoring it to your field. Because if you are generic, you might not get the results you want. Great. We have one more question here. If there's anybody that has any other questions, please go ahead and ask or drop it in the chat box. But we have one question here about LinkedIn. The person said, you said there is in the United States that they verify LinkedIn for professional purpose. Is that possible here in Nigeria? I don't know if you are able to answer, but I think I can give an answer to that. Okay.
Yes, you can answer. I mean, you just try it, right? But
Yeah.
you can answer too, right?
Okay. So yes, it is possible in Nigeria. So similar to how he explained it, that you use your company email and government ID, you can do that as well in Nigeria. Usually every now and then LinkedIn will actually prompt you and say, do you want to verify your account? So you follow that prompt, then um it takes you through the steps of providing a company email if you're working with a company and providing your ID. You can also do a Google search on how to verify if you're not getting that prompt in your LinkedIn. But yes, you can actually verify your LinkedIn profile, even in Nigeria. All right. Do we have any other question?
Final question.
Okay.
One last question. Um, you emphasized on networking a lot. I mean, I can almost summarize this as the importance of networking. Um, can you run us through how, or like a maybe a scenario on how you would approach networking? For example, it can be when you're sending a message to somebody on LinkedIn, to um, a person that's working in a company I can see myself potentially working on. How will that dialogue go about? Um, and how do you undo rejection if the person doesn't respond? Like, what should be our response to rejection?
So yeah, I think let me start from the later. So for rejection, I think whether you like it or not, everybody you see out there, they are facing or they've once faced rejection. So don't even let the things you see online to make you feel like, oh, you're not doing well. And one of how I handle rejection is when I meet so-called successful people, the first thing I ask them is, how many times did you try before you get this done? Like, tell me how your road was to this journey, to this endpoint. Then you see them talking to you about a lot of things they went through. Just picture anybody you think in your mind, you think they're doing well, they're in your environment, and ask them this simple question. In fact, maybe if there are people who are very free, they might still tell you the current challenges they are facing. So, challenges is going to come and you need to accept it. And don't think that, oh, when this happened to me in life, then I think all my problem will be solved. That's not true. A lot of people aspire to be in abroad or anywhere, to be in Lagos. By the time you get there, you're going to face the unique challenges of those places. So what to keep going is one, keep orientating yourself about people's challenges, then to make you understand that they are humans as well. They are also feeling what you are feeling, so you will not think that you are not the only one feeling it. Number two, just know that in the circle of life, it doesn't end. Shoot as many shots as possible. One will enter. I mean, there's this thing of like, if you want to if you want to aim the what is it called? Is it the moon? Yes. If you can't get the moon, you're going to land on the star. But at least that's still something, right? So what I tell people, try as many times as possible. In fact, try simultaneously, so that when the rejection comes, you just be like, okay, yeah, the other ones that I've lost will not really matter. And someone said something yesterday. I was chatting with a man yesterday, and it was like, do you know most times in life when people say they are successful, they are only successful 30% in their journey. That means they failed 70%. Like the so-called successful people you are saying, they are only successful 30%. Oh. So so because they remain consistent and confident, they're able to cope with the remaining 70% that they've not been successful. So many of us we think success should be 100%, and that's not true. And now the age of social media, if you see most people that you are seeing on Instagram that you think everything is well with them, if you see them in person, then or if you hear them speak to you, you're going to be surprised. That's that. I think the first question, how to handle networking. I would say networking is location based. Some things are the same, but some things are location based in the sense that the culture of networking with someone in Nigeria is different with the culture of networking with someone in the US. For instance, when people are doing birthdays and you post them on your status or you send them birthday message, it might mean a lot to people in Nigeria. Maybe here, depending on the person you are relating with, it might even be like you are disturbing them too much. Like, why are you on their case? Maybe a way of making them notice you might be to reach out and be proactive and say, oh, I like this that you do. I'm wondering if there is any resources you can share. That's like taking notes. So let's say you don't know someone somewhere and you want them to have your attention. On social media, maybe LinkedIn, excuse me, one thing you could do is you can start liking their posts, their LinkedIn posts. Let's say they make a post. You can like the post, you can comment about it, like congratulations, happy work anniversary, and all that. In person in Nigeria will be to attend programs and events. Let's say events like this that are in person and ask questions. People go for inaugural lecture. I remember then when I was in school in Nigeria, I used to be friends with professors in Nigeria universities, used to attend inaugural lectures. After attending the inaugural lecture, I will send them email after and tell them your inaugural lecture was fantastic. They will reply me and we'll become friends. If I need to sign something in the person's office the following month, you think they will not sign it for me? But that is not the same here. So it's just being thoughtful and thinking about, okay, what are the likely things I could do? Here in the US, I think in-person meetings and talking to people, it works. Sending email and appreciating people, it works. Maybe buying gifts may not, network is about, okay. Yeah, being thoughtful, yeah. So maybe sending gifts might not be too, yeah, here it may not really work like that, but maybe over there in Nigeria, maybe it might work. I think being intentional will be would be the way to go, which is you've seen someone you like what they're doing, you are engaging them on social media respectfully. When you see them in person, you let them know how you appreciate what they are doing. Ask them questions about their struggle, how they got there, and how you would like to get there. When you go for a church program or like religious program, you go for programs in your community, you see people come give talk. Ask questions. Let them know the things you are passionate about. When you're posting on your story, let your story reflect like what you want to do. Okay, this is the coding I worked on today. This is something I did today. Not like you are doing something completely different. So I think those are the little things I think I could add. I'm sorry, I may have to leave very soon. So hopefully all our questions are answered.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Let's show our appreciations in the chat. Let's send in our appreciations. Thank you so much for your time. It was very insightful. I'd also like to hear our feedback. How was the session? What's something that stood out to you? What's one key thing that you are taking away from this session? Let's drop it in the chat box as we round up. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Segun, for taking out the time to be with us today. We really, really appreciate you. I'm sure that many have learned a lot. I personally, the part of your story where you shared how you found places that enabled you to do your work and learn, even in the middle of what looked like scarcity of power supply and all that. That's very, very, very impactful. Means anything we want to go for, anything we want, we can get it as long as we are intentional and we go the extra mile. No excuses, right? Thank you so much, sir. Anybody wants to drop it what they learned from this session, something that really, really stood out to you? Yes, I see Angel said she really liked what you said about rejection and trying again. Great. Anybody else before we call it a night? Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. All right. In the absence of any comment, if you'd like to drop a comment, please do. In the absence of any comment, again, thank you for taking out the time to be here today. If you are not part of our community and you would like to join, we would gladly welcome you in. We'll share more details via email. But we do have the community. We always share resources, training materials, scholarship opportunities. We also have mentorship sessions like this where we have those who have gone ahead of us come share insights from their experience. And then we have group coaching sessions that we do. We're going to be having a group coaching sessions sometime in May for those who are interested in wanting that guidance and support to access opportunities. We have over the years mentored many who have gone ahead to gain incredible opportunities for themselves, both locally and globally, and we are keen on helping, especially when it comes to tech and remote work. That's our area of focus. I'd like to say quickly that the world we are in now is driven by technology. So regardless of what industry you are in, if maybe you have already gone through school and you've already studied something, and as Dr. Shegun said, to find what's in demand. Finding what's in demand, if you're already ahead in your career, doesn't mean you have to go back to school or start all over. It might just mean looking for ways you can leverage tech in your area of focus. So I see people who are, for example, there's a young lady I see on TikTok a lot who's a lawyer, like she studied law in Nigeria, but she has never worked for any law firm in Nigeria. She only works for law firms in the diaspora because she has leveraged technology. So she knows how to use a lot of the tools that they use, a lot of the resources that you need to know how to use. So be intentional about building those skills that are in demand, regardless of what industry you are in. And if you are still in school or still trying to figure out what you are going to do, it's very important to look at what is in demand, just like Dr. Shegun told us, to begin to position yourself for opportunities. There are opportunities. There are so many opportunities out there, but we need to make sure that we are upskilling and we are positioning ourselves right for those opportunities. Again, thank you for being part of this session. The recording will be provided to us as well. So if you'd like to go over it, if you'd like to share it with your friends, we'll have the recordings provided. And we'll also have the details on how to join our community provided as well if you're not a part of our community. Thank you so much again for being part of tonight. I do appreciate you all showing up. Thank you for taking up space, and I want to hear wonderful testimonials of your experience from this session. So please leave us a message, send us a message, drop a message on our social media platform or on our community if you are in the community. Again, thank you again for showing up, and do have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. We'll be ending the call and the recording right now. Thank you. Bye-bye.